Heyo, how we doing? I'm Gert, and today we got a Wifi Battle against Haydunn, an absolute legend in the Pokemon community. And I've been watching dude, he's been killing it for over 10 years. If you don't know him, definitely go over and check him out. Anyway, so he's got a pretty cool team. We saw it in Rabsco, which I haven't really come up against, and I'm kind of excited to see what that thing does. And he's got DOG Muck, you'll love to see it. So, turn 1 here. He's going to throw out Quagmire to Quagsire, and I'm going to throw out Blue Gym to Earthworm. And we've got a pretty even matchup, and we're both going to just trade some rocks back and forth. I'm going to throw some at him, he's going to throw some at me. And I'm kind of looking at it like, this Quagsire can kind of mess up this thing because it's not very specially defensive. So I go for a Shed Tail, and I'm trying to get a more favorable matchup against this thing because the Sire looks like a problem for my team, and so it gives me a relatively safe switch to take any one hit. So I bring in Boo the Gengar here, and I'm thinking, hey, if I can fire off an energy ball, I can probably knock this thing out. So we take the Surf and the Substitute goes down, that's just fine. And I'm looking to fire off an energy ball to try and knock this thing out. But he predicts that, which is fair enough, it's kind of an open play. But he switches into the Muck, which takes that just fine. And I'm kind of looking at this thing thinking, well, Muck's kind of a menace to stay in against, because this thing can do anything. Can set up curses, go for sucker punches, and Gengar doesn't like any of that. So I'm going to go back and switch into good old Jim again. He's going to come in and see what this thing's going to do. As he doubles out into Grinch, the Brute Bonnet. And truth be told, I haven't played against many of these things either. But after lefties, I'm kind of looking at my health, and I'm thinking, I don't really have enough health to make another Shed Tail. So we're just under halfway point here. And I'm thinking, well, I might as well just fire off a Body Press and get some damage against this thing, and that does a clean amount of damage. But he fires off the Spore, and he puts old Jim to sleep, and I'm like, maybe I should preserve this thing, and try and keep a sleep alive, and maybe switch in later and try to get a Shed Tail off or something. So, while Jim's taking a nap, I switch into Bagel Boss, and take note, this Dash Bun puts in so much work this game. He puts in a solid shift. So, we come in on a close combat, and Dash Bun's chilling is that it? And he is the Bagel Boss. So, the Brute Bonnet's like, oh hell no, I'm not dying to some pastry dog. And Quagsire comes back in on the incoming Body Press. And I don't want my bagel to be sitting here getting wet and soggy, so I'm looking at this Quagsire thinking he's probably just going to fire off a Surf, so I'm like, nah, I'm keeping my bagel dry, pristine for later. So Jim comes in to take the Surf, and I'm like, Jim's asleep, he's probably the least useful member of the team right now, and he takes the Surf, and he's just hanging 10 and asleep. He's hanging 28 even. So I kind of need a free switch, and the rock's already up for me, so I'm looking at Jim, and I'm like, you've done the work, man. It's okay. So I'm thinking I'm just going to let Jim go down to a Surf here, and bring in something to help deal with this Quagsire. So Jim goes down, and I'm looking at this thing like, I kind of want to get some momentum back, so I bring in the Noivern, and my Noivern's named Paldean Zubat. Catch 22, I know it's from Kalos. But the Noivern's coming in, he's rocking the Terra Normal Boom Burst, and I'm coming in to try and absolutely eviscerate something in front of me. He makes a nice switch and goes into this thing, so he knows it's low health, and my team's pretty speed heavy. So, either way, I'm getting a kill with something with this Noivern. So, to get some momentum back, I go in and I blow out some eardrums on the Brute Bonnet. And that thing's dead as hell, because who the hell wants to come in on a speaker exploding with some stab Terra Normal? So, I'm wondering what he's going to switch into on this, and he brings in Paint Dip, the Staraptor, and I'm kind of looking at this thing thinking, the only reason you'd bring this thing in is if it was scarfed. So, I've kind of got some little susses about it, but I'm thinking if I bring in Rufus, after Rock's damage and the Intimidate, I should be able to live this thing and fear it out with either a E-Speed or something else. So I'm looking at this thing going, the E-Speed's kind of obvious, and I'm a choice banned Arcanine, so I'm going to go for Psychic Fangs, hoping that the Muck comes in to try to come in and set up on this thing. And the Quagsire comes in and takes Psychic Fangs like it's literally nothing. This thing was kind of a problem for this game. So I switch out one doggo for another, and in comes the Dash Bun again. who absolutely tanks this surf like it's nothing. This dog, amazing, best thing on this team. So I make a little prediction and go for the ground move, thinking that the Muck's gonna come in to try fight the fairy bred dog. And I go for the Stomping Tantrum, and after Rock's damage, it's looking like it's a 2-hit KO. And I'm like, damn, Dashbun, nice. So I'm still looking at this thing, and I also know I had speeded, so I just go for it, and it's a crit. I don't know if the crit mattered. I don't think it would sway the game too much, but nice. Dashbun picks up a little kill here. And now in comes Heimlich, and I'm like, what the hell is this thing? It was the Rabska, and I'm like, I've never dealt with this thing, so I don't know what it does. So I just fire off a crunch for some damage, and it doesn't do a hell load, but it does enough to where I can like safely stay in, and it calm minds. And I'm like, I'm not looking to get swept by this thing, but also this thing going down and getting a free switch if this thing sets up is my best play. So I'm just going to keep firing off crunches, hoping to get a defense drop or something. And it goes for the Revival Blessing. And I was like, okay, that's some tech I don't know about. And I'm a little shook, and in comes the Muck. So Muck's back in the game at half health, and I'm like, okay, I can still deal with the Muck later. I kind of just want this thing dead at this point, so I fire off another crunch, and it fires off the stored power at +2, and we live that so nicely. Like, Bagel Boss living up to his name, and Bagel Boss gets his second kill of the game. Look at this doggo putting in work. So I'm finally free of the damn beetle, and Bagel Boss is sitting at 2 kills, and I'm like, you know what, Bagel Boss? You've done your job. You've done it. So in comes the Tauros, who gets a Trailblaze kill for the +1 speed, so I was like, huh, that's kinda cool, I need to deal with this thing. So I bring in Doflamingo, my Flamigo, who is scarfed as hell, and I'm thinking Brave Bird does good damage against everything on his team. So I fire off a Brave Bird, and in comes the Quagmire again, I'm like, god damn. But it's looking like Brave Bird's a 2-hit KO, and I can finally bring down this Quagsire. And I'm like, good job, Flamigo, living up to the names. So, Quagsire's gone, and on the free switch, I'm thinking, what's gonna come in? And he switches in the Staraptor, and that kind of confirms to me that this thing's scarfed, because my Flamigo's scarfed and this thing's 10 base speed faster. So I'm looking at this thing like, what's the least useful member of my team at this point? Because I'm expecting a Scarf Brave Bird. So I'm looking at Boo, and Boo's kind of had his usefulness. So Boo goes down to a Brave Bird, and I'm like, could I get a Cursed Body Proc though? I don't get Cursed Body Proc, and I'm looking at the recoil damage, and I think he still lives 1 switch rotation on rocks, so I need some extra damage on this thing. And at this point, I'm kind of just hoping to get an E-Speed off with Arcanine to kill this thing. But a Choice Band at E-Speed does pretty nice damage to everything on his team, and in comes the Muck, and Arcanine's like, oh hell no. So, Muck goes down to the E-Speed, Arcanine picks up a kill, which is real nice. And I'm looking at Arcanine's health, and I'm like, I probably can't kill this thing with an E-Speed, and I'll die to rocks on re-entry, and this Arcanine's my win condition at this point, because it outspeeds the Staraptor with E-Speed being priority. So I bring in the Flamigo, who does the service and takes a Wave Crash. That lets that Tauros drop down a little lower to where he's in KO range of most things that are left. So I bring in the Paldean Zubat once again, and I go for the Defog to let my Arcanine come in E-Speed and clean up this game. But that removes rocks on his side too, but that's fine. So Paldean Zubat actually takes that Wave Crash with 40 HP left, and I'm like, damn, nice. So I fire off the Boom Burst, and as you can see, the timer is starting to trick down, and I'm like, oh, I just need 1 turn with this Arcanine, just 1. So in comes the Paint Drip, who we are 100% sure is scarfed at this point, and I just click my move as fast as possible. And the Paint Drip is actually going to turn out to be a Terra Flying Staraptor, which is kind of crazy. That thing would do so much damage. But I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, he can kill the Noivern, but the timer is really getting low, and with the Pokemon left, I think I'm kind of screwed. So he goes for the CC, Noivern goes down. Paint Drip is at -1 both defenses, but the rocks are gone, Arcanine can come in, and I wasn't sure how the timer worked, because I've never actually gone to a 0-second match, so this was incredibly close, and As you can see, I lock in the E-speed, but the match is up, and Haydunn has more health, so the match goes to Haydunn. But I gotta say, that was the closest match I've had in Scarlet and Violet, and it was a wonderful game to play. And if you liked it, let me know, and cheers for watching. And GG for Haydunn for the absolutely great match. Catch you next time, everyone. Peace.